Hey everyone, Scott and Bruce from MusicPlayers.com here. And today we're going to talk about a couple of the greatest Stratocaster guitars that Fender has ever made. The Strat Elite that came out about 3 years ago, and the new Strat Ultra that just came out this year. Because we know a lot of you are wondering, how different are they? Right?
Right.
Well, let's first talk about what's similar. They're both the pinnacle of Fender's engineering in terms of modern appointments on a Stratocaster. They have 2-point synchronized tremolo bridges, which work fantastically. They both have noiseless pickups. We were really impressed when the Elite came out with the 4th generation noiseless pickups when we first reviewed this guitar. The Strat Ultra has the next evolution of the pickups. Just basically you're in the same general ballpark as the 4th generation noiseless, but they've been tweaked just a little bit for the new guitars. So one of the great design changes we loved about the Elite series of Strats was the compound radius fretboard. It gets flatter and shreddier as you work your way up the fretboard. Now, that's something we've loved about Jackson guitars, and it seems like a page from that playbook was applied here when Fender thought about how can we up the performance of the neck while still retaining the comfort that we know and love about a Strat neck. But of course we're all too familiar with working our way up the fretboard on a Strat and hitting that big chunky block of wood behind the neck at the joint. Now, one of the great things on the Elite, as you can see, is the cutaway. Fender changed the neck joint to make it easier to reach the upper frets. It definitely contributes to making it a more modern guitar for playing faster styles of rock and lead work. And so when Fender introduced the new Ultra series, we were already thinking, well, what more were they going to do to this guitar to make it, to improve upon the Elite? But it turns out there was a lot of work to be done, and you don't see it when you're looking at the front of the guitar. So Bruce, why don't you talk about the changes?
Sure. Well, from the front of the guitar looks quite traditional. There's not much that's been changed, but when you flip the guitar around, it's a whole different ball game. I mean, we still have the same locking tuners that we have from the Elite, but this neck heel here is completely different. The shape is the same, but if you could see the width, the depth of this neck heel, it might be half or less than half in measurement. So when you're really getting up to the upper register here, there's nothing in the way as you would have on that thicker block behind your hand. That would be closer to Fender's original style from back in the 50s, where you had that big square clunky block in the way of your hand there. Where this guitar is completely modernized into the 2020s now, where there's really nothing in your way of getting into the upper register of the instrument rather.
There's a lot more wood cut out from the back of that.
There is. Yeah, that's this contour here. In comparison to the Elite, this is really flat. This sits flat and flush against your body, where here you have a nice beveled kind of contour to sit more comfortable against the player's body. And I mean, it seems like a
look at this cutaway.
Yeah. It seems like a minor feature, but in practicality, when you're playing the guitar and you're playing the guitar all night, I mean, weight comes into play, but also comfort on how the guitar sits against you. Really.
And this detail here, this cutaway, this is something that you'll find on a number of premium boutique super Strat type guitars from some of the other companies, and I think Fender realized, what, players were demanding.
It's not, it's certainly not new, but it's new to Fender. So I mean that speaks to where who this guitar may be marketed for. It's clearly marketed for the serious musician and the price range that it's in, and now in some of the features that they're including now for the first time on a Strat. They're definitely going. They've heard the community. The community wants these features, and they're now starting to include them on Stratocasters, which I think is pretty exciting.
Yeah. Now we're not going to play the guitars for you today because, to be quite honest, they sound like Strats.
They do. They're every bit a Strat as your grandpa's Strat was. I mean,
without the noise.
Yeah, you know, the noiseless pickups, and you know, I must say that the Gen 4 pickups were very they were surprising. They deliver as designed. They were Stratty and they were noiseless. I remember when the noiseless pickups first came out, I was not as happy about them, but they've certainly come a long way. It's not a pickup that I'm going to look to change in this instrument. They're going to stay right where they are because they work.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that the differences, you know, they might seem a little subtle, but they really add up to a remarkable change to make what's already a fantastic Strat into an even better Strat.
Definitely.
So be sure to visit musicplayers.com to read our full in-depth review of the new Strat Ultra, and check out lots of our other content. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.